Okay, so the next section in the book we're going over is your navigation lights on boats, the lighting system. It makes a bit more sense when you understand why. But lights on the boat, they're not for us, the benefit of us. They're, when we're driving a boat, we want it as dark as possible. It's like if you're driving a car, you don't want the interior light on at night time, it's annoying. So you lose your night vision. So at night time, we're looking at other people's lights. It just tells us which way they're going, what they are, and other stuff. Okay, so basically you break your navigation lights. You got your, let's say this is 360. Okay, so the boat's going this way. Okay, so your starboard side, you should remember, is your right hand side. So what colour is it? Green. Port, red and left. There's no red port left in the bottle. Okay, so they're the angles. So I mean, good luck if you can memorise this, but each one's 112.5 degrees. But anyway, so we're driving this way. So anyone in this zone here, that's sort of our give way zone. Give way to our right. You should know, always give way to your right. Collision regulations is really easy. You meet someone head on, we both turn right. Okay. Anyone on your starboard side you have to give way to. How do we give way? We give way by turning right, slowing down, stopping, or turning right and going underneath them. Okay. So if these guys are on a collision course, the hand with the pens has to give way to the right because he's on his right. So he generally turns right and goes underneath him. When you do it, make an early course change, make it big enough so the other guy knows that you're on the ball. Okay, so it's give way to your right, turn to your right, drive on your right. So when we're in the middle of an empty channel, we stay right. Overtaking, you can go either side. You could be in the middle of the ocean, as long as you don't impede the guy in front of you, which is common sense. And if you're being overtaken, you're meant to maintain course and speed. Okay, but back to the lights. So if we've got an all-round white light as well, so that's starboard if you've got a power boat. If you've got a sailboat, you only got your red and greens, and this one here, which is what we call a stern light, which is a white light from behind. With a power boat, we have an all-round white light. So if we just an all-round white light. So it doesn't matter what way you drive at the boat, you're going to see a white light if it's a power boat. So if I drive at him this way, I'm going to see green and white. If you see green and white, you know you're looking at the starboard side, he must be going that way. If I come at him from this side, I'm going to get red and white. I must be looking at the port side. If I meet him head on, I'm going to see all three, red, green and white. In collision regulations, say we meet someone head on, we both turn right. Okay? If I'm overtaking him, I'm just going to see the back of the light. I'm going to see a white light, which means I can drive either way. Okay? If you go to anchor, what's an anchor light? An anchor light's something you got on when you're at anchor. So when you're at anchor, you're not underway obviously, so you turn your port and starboards off if you're in a power boat, and you leave your all-round white light on. That's your anchor light. So if we're driving along and we see a stern light or an anchor light, it's going to look the same. It's just a white light. It just means we've got to stay out of his way. Simple, really. There's a thing called a mast headlight which confuses everyone. Okay, now a mast headlight is a white light. Most people get that right. But most people think mast, they think yacht. It's not. It's a powerboat. So mast is just, it's nautical terminology. Mast is the top part of the vessel. So if you see the movie on TV with the submarine where they're all standing up the top as the submarine's coming into dock, that's the mast of the submarine. So the mast is just the top part of the boat. It's just we know yachts because the mast holds the sail. So a mast headlight is a light on the mast. It's a white light, but it's not 360. It's the same arc as your port and starboards if you add them together. So it's 225, okay? So if you've got a mast headlight, let's say we don't have a stern light, we had an all-round white light, and we decided to put, boats over 12 metres have to have these by law. a masthead, and a stern combination. So if you've got a masthead light on its own, you've got nothing down the back here, down the stern. So they need to have what we call a stern light, which fills in the back piece of the pie. So the masthead stern combination give you 360 degrees. That's your all-round white light. It's just taken two white lights to do what most of us do with one. People go, oh, why do I need to have one? I mean, I don't want to get too technical, you know, it's got to be a minimum of 2.5 metres above the gun or the masthead light and all this sort of stuff. But what happens is we get the introduction into lights. So if you've got a boat over 20 metres, you have to have two masthead lights. So now I've got two of these, but I've only got one stern light. So if I'm coming up behind him, I just get a white light. I can overtake either side. But if I look at his starboard side, I get two white lights and a green light. That just lets me know that, oh, hang on, this guy's over 20 metres, he's a bit bigger boat, okay? You guys don't need to know this. But this is why a masthead light's coming into it. It's for bigger stuff, okay? We just get the introduction into lights. But what you guys have got to understand is if you've got a masthead light, just a single one, because you might be lucky enough to have a boat over 12 metres, which is 38 foot, which means you're not on a trailer, you're living in a marina. Okay, so if you've got one of those, you need that masthead stern combination. Okay, there's other couple of strange ones that confuse people. There's a boat in the book they talk about. Okay, it's a boat less than 7 metres, which is the majority of power boats and recreational ones, but it goes less than 7 knots. Now that's maxed out at 7 knots. I don't know anyone's boat that goes less than 7 knots, but if I did, this is putt, 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 okay, they're not, most of the hulls we've got these days what we call planing hulls, okay, which means we've got high revving motors which initially they bog down and then they get up out of the water and they scoot across the top. That's a planing hull. If you're planing, you're going quicker than 7 knots. But let's just assume we had this boat that went less than 7 knots, less than 7 metres. All you need is a white light. You don't need your red and greens, okay? You can have them if you want, but all you need is a white light because, to be honest, it's like driving around. It's a slow boat. And then they talk about a sailboat less than 7 metres. So this guy here is what we call, you know, like a surf cat or a little dinghy or something like that. If you're going out at night time, not sure why you'd be going out at night time one of these, but you know, they've got to have a rule for everything. And the rule is if you're going out at night time in a sailboat less than 7 metres, you're meant to carry a lantern or a waterproof torch. Not a lot of lanterns around these days, plenty of waterproof torches. So if you are one of these guys going out on your surf cat at night time, not sure why, but if you are, take a waterproof torch with you. That's your lighting system. Okay. Now diving's another thing people get confused about. If we're diving at night time, you know, I showed you the dive flag before. Most people know what that looks like. With the dive flag, we can't see it at night. So if you're diving at night, okay, you need some sort of lighting system. So if you're on a boat, it's red, white, red in a vertical line. So it's just that's a white light in the middle. So it's just red, white, red vertical line. If you're diving off the shore at night time, you're meant to tow around an orange or yellow flashing light with you in the water. Good luck with that, okay? I personally wouldn't recommend it. You'd be a lure, but that's the law, okay? The law is if you're diving off the shore, someone's got to be able to see you, so you're meant to tow an orange or yellow flashing light around with you in the water, okay? Now just a couple of different scenarios that sticks in your head a bit better. So if I see a red and white light, well, it'd probably be like, assuming this is up the top, it'd probably be like this. A red and white light, you're looking at the port side, okay? So if I see a green and white light, you're looking at the starboard side of a boat. If I see green, red and white, I must be looking at a boat head on, got to turn right. And then you've got a couple of scenarios with the all-round white light. So an all-round white light, if I just see the all-round white light, could be a few things, okay? But they all pretty much mean the same thing. So it could be a boat at anchor, which means I've got to stay out of his way. He's at anchor, he can't do anything. It could be the back of another boat. I can just get the back of the white, the stern light, okay, which means I'm overtaking. If you're overtaking, you've got to give way. Could be this little sailboat with his torch, stay out of his way. Could be a boat less than 7 metres that goes less than 7 knots, stay out of his way. So white lights we go around, okay? And that's it for your nav lights. And your collision regulation is pretty easy. Rule of right, give way to the right, turn to the right, drive on the right. Overtaking either side. Horn blasts are a bit confusing, okay? So horn blasts, I know most of you probably won't have a horn, but bigger boats have them. So we don't have a lot of big boat traffic here in WA, but if you go down to Circular Quay in Sydney there one day and have a look, you'll see it going on. But it's just an early warning system, because once these guys are committed, they're going, okay? So it's just letting everyone know around them what they're going to do before they do it. So one blast of the horn, what's the first thing you do on the water? Is it right? It's right. Give way to the right, turn to the right, drive on the right. So the way I remember it is one blast is starboard, he's turning starboard. 2 blasts, he's going to turn port. 3 blasts, what else could he do? He's turn right, he's turn port. 3, what could he do? Slowing down or stopping or going back, which is what we call engines astern. So he's gone from forward propulsion into reverse, what we call engines astern. That's 3 blasts, and then there's no 4, so you don't mess up what 5 is. So 5 blasts technically means unsure of your intentions, please make them clear. Unofficially it means out of the way, okay? So if you, like I said, little boats don't have horns. So if you hear 5 blasts, you'll be looking up at a big boat and he's telling you, mate, come on, out of the way. So I find everyone mixes up 1 and 2. So the way I remember it is the first thing you do on the water is always right. We give way to the right, we turn to the right, we drive on the right. So 1 blast is starboard, 2 is port, 3 is astern, and 5 is move on basically. Okay, so that's pretty much it.